Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am ready. The subject will be about time traveling. Is time traveling possible? And yes, it is possible. Absolutely possible. But you can't come back from the future and undo the future. That is impossible. Something that is already done cannot be undone. So instead of changing the future that you come from, you make a new future, a new timeline. To understand time traveling, you have to understand time is relative. To understand time, you must challenge your own mind.
Time travel is possible, but every time you hear about time travel, you hear that one must not disturb the past, because it has an effect on the future that may come. That is absolutely nonsense. I've explained to you before that people are stupid, they think they know all sorts of bullshit. But, do not worry. I'm set in the world to tell you the truth, so here it comes, here you have the truth. About time travel. If you travel back in time, then you are not affecting the future you come from. No matter what you do, it will not change the future you came from. It's one of the only things that is completely impossible. You cannot undo what has already happened in one timeline. But what you can do is create another timeline. Now listen carefully. The future you came from is running on its very own timeline, and the future you have traveled back from just continues its timeline, and the development it is having. Tanis theory is that nothing that already has happened in the future cannot be changed. But the time you are in will always shape in order to the time, as time is created. Time travelers will not be able to change the future the time travelers came from. That future will continue to evolve with time, as it is created. Are you confused? Don't be. I have made an example for you. Look at this illustration. Imagine that the track is the timeline we live in. The same moment a time travel enters our timeline, a new timeline is created in the universe. And a new future is created as time goes on, in the new timeline. Here the future is still unwritten, it is created continuously on the timeline as time continues on this track. The future the time traveler came from is a completely different timeline. So it cannot be affected, it is a completely different track, in a completely different time. The universe expands due to time travel. Creating new timelines requires space in the universe. And to get more space, it needs to be expanded. Well, I can tell you about that in another episode, so if you subscribe then you get the truth before everyone else. Now back to time travel and back on track. I will now leave the floor to Tanis. Thank you for listening to the Tanis Theory, and hope to see you another time. Tanis, can you please take over now? I'm getting a little tired, and confused about this time travel bullshit, thanks.
There is a lot of timelines in the universe. Every time you create a new timeline, the universe has to expand. Otherwise, there's no room for another timeline. So, you can ask yourself, which timeline do I live in? And you live in your own timeline. Can I live in more than one timeline? You cannot live in another timeline, but you can have lived a life in another timeline that has passed. But the timeline from where you are now, that is creating the future. You cannot change the future. It doesn't matter what you do. So, if you are a time traveler and you come back in time and you think you can change the future that already has happened, you cannot change. But you are creating a new timeline. That is a timeline which in you live. And the other timeline in the future is now the past for you, but it's not the future for me, because the future is about to be created by this new timeline. I know this is a bit confusing, but here you got your answer why the universe is expanding all the time and why you cannot undo what is already done. But as crazy as it sounds, time traveling can happen and will happen, and probably it's happened many times. Which timeline do you live in? You are in the timeline that is your present right here and right now. You cannot be in two timelines because one of them will already have been created. So I will tell you a secret the next time that will blow your mind. I will make an episode more for this time traveling, because something is happening when two timelines cross each other, and that you must see. Goodbye. See you.